Hi, fifth graders. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the reading portion of our language arts class. Today we're going to look at independent reading and some of the other pieces that make up our reading class. So let's get started with our reading workshop. First of all, at the top we have IDR, and it's at the top for a reason because those minutes that you read by yourself on your own every day are some of the most important minutes of practice that there are. So we're going to count on you on the days that you're not at school to read for 30 minutes on your own. For real. I don't want you pretending that you're reading. You have to really read because that's the only way you get better. When you're at school, we will do a 30 minutes of IDR when you're in our classroom. And sometimes your math science teacher might do some minutes too. So that can help you to get that 30 minutes in. But on the days that you're at home or on a day when a teacher has not asked you to read for 30 minutes, you still need to make sure that you read for 30 minutes before the day is over, because that's what's going to make you a great reader. In order to read, you have to have some books. So I want to talk about some places that you might get some books. You might get some from the classroom library, depending on how we figure out how to do that. Everything is a little bit different during the pandemic. We have to find a way to get you books without everybody touching all the books and sharing all the germs. So from our classroom, somehow from the media center, we're going to try to be able to get you books. And you could always go to the public library. That might be a great habit to start now in fifth grade, is making a trip to the public library every other week or something like that, so that you can always have new books to read. We also will have some Scholastic book orders coming up, and you can get your own books that you can use that you just have at home. In addition to the quiet reading time, we also have mini lessons. Mini lessons are lessons about strategies that help you become a better reader, and they help you think about the book that you're reading. Thinking about the book that you're reading while you're reading it is one of the biggest jobs we have. It's easy to read a book and just let the words go in and out of your brain without thinking about them. But when you begin to think about everything about the book, the plot, the words, the characters, the author, when you start thinking about all of that, you remember the book better and you're going to do better on questions about the book. You enjoy the book more and you become a better reader. So thinking while you're reading is really important. Small groups. Before the pandemic, we did a lot more small groups. We still have a chance to do some small groups at school and sometimes on a Zoom. This would be as needed. We might do them because we have a cool idea that it would go well with that lesson, and so everybody would take turns doing a small group or a Zoom, or we might do it at a time where we can notice that, hey, everyone seems to be getting this, but these few kids are having a little trouble. Let's pull these few kids together, teach that lesson again so that they can understand it too. And finally, we have Reading Plus. Reading Plus is a way to practice your reading and your vocabulary skills, fluency especially. And that is a program where you log in and it gives you things to read and it helps you to track how you read and it increases how fast you read and it helps you with learning vocabulary words so that you become a better reader. So all of these pieces make up our reading workshop, and hopefully you'll get to be good at all of those things. There are many different kinds of books that you'll be reading this year. These are some different genres that you might run across. What I've noticed about fifth graders is they often pick a favorite genre or maybe two favorite genres, and then they don't branch out very much. They decide in their head that they like realistic fiction and fantasy, and that's all they want to look at. But really, if you look at some of the other genres, you might be surprised how much you like them. Especially, I see kids liking historical fiction when they weren't sure they were going to like that. And maybe science fiction is one that they didn't think they liked so much. So give them all a chance. You have realistic fiction, stories that are kind of like similar to our life right now. They could take place like right now in a similar place. Historical fiction are stories based on events from history. The characters are probably made up, that's the fiction part, but they're based on things that happened in history. Science fiction is futuristic and sometimes scientific facts are included in those. Adventure is lots of action and conflict. Fantasies are stories containing unrealistic things that could never happen in the real world. That's why they're kind of fun. Mysteries are stories that keep you thinking. They give you clues and you have to figure it out. The authors are really good at keeping you in suspense about what's happening. A humor book is a funny story. A classic is a story that was written many years ago by great writers of the past. Nonfiction are all your books that are true fact-based books. Biographies are true stories of someone's life written by someone else. And autobiographies are when the story of someone's life is written by that person. They wrote their own story. Okay? Enjoying silent reading. The first thing you need to do to enjoy that 30 minutes of IDR time is to really, really read. For real. No faking. Sometimes kids go to more trouble faking reading than it would be to read for real anyway. And by the way, we can usually tell. We can tell by how fast you're moving the pages and how your eyes are tracking. And so you want to read for real. If you're trying to fake read, that's a clue to me that you don't have a book that you like very well. Because kids that like their book, they don't want to fake read. They want to know what's going to happen next in that story. So they don't fake it. They read for real. Secondly, reading is thinking. We talked about this before. The strategies we use will give you some things to think about as you're reading your book. Choosing book. How readers choose a book is the way they choose everything in life. You do things that you like. If you like to do sports, you probably want to read about sports. If you like to fantasize about things that could never happen, you might like fantasy. If you like science, you might like science fiction. So think about the things you like to watch on TV, movies you like. What do you like to talk about with your friends? Those are all clues. Find a book like that, and then you'll probably like reading. You want a book that is just right. It is not too easy, not too hard. You want it right in the middle. It shouldn't be so easy that you never come across a word you don't know, and it shouldn't be so hard that you have every other line has a word that you don't understand. You want it in a zone where you can be learning, because every once in a while there's a word you don't know, but not so bogged down that you can't even understand the story because it's just too hard. You don't want that. For some reason I have a leftover word here. I'm going to get rid of that right now. So that is what we're doing to enjoy our reading even a little bit more. So that's the beginning of understanding what we do for reading and language arts. Good luck. I want you to be a good, happy reader, and let us know if you're not finding books that you like, because we can help you find better ones. Happy reading.